Hello, this is Bob Gray Sr. Welcome to Minister Moments every Friday, 4 o'clock Eastern Time. Been here over a year in Florida. Seemed like I'd get the straighten out, wouldn't I? But 4 o'clock Eastern Time. And every Friday, I'll come to you with some practical thoughts and hopefully be able to help men of God, young men of God, Sunday school teachers, bus captains, and so on called Ministry Moments, not a sermon, where I just chat with you. I always wanted to be a liberal for a little bit. I'm going to chat with you. But I want to talk to you today about ministry banking. Ministry banking. And I have an accounting background. I worked for General Motors for 7 years as a cost accountant. And I loved it. I loved working for General Motors. They promoted from within and just I loved the workplace. And of course, it went bankrupt, and all the stock I had wasn't worth the paper it was written on. But anyway, I probably love numbers too much. But let me talk to you about ministry banking, if I may, just quickly here. Number one, have two banks to do and to do business with. Have two banks to do business with. Don't have just one bank, have two different banks in your town that you do business with. And you know both of the managers, and they change them on purpose because they don't want you to become friendly or too close to one. I understand that from their perspective. I understand completely. But you need to have two banks to do business with. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Have two banks you do business with. Number two, one should be a local bank. One of the two banks should be a local bank. Now, why? Well, generally, it's easier to borrow short-term money from a local bank. Interest is higher now. But the way we did it with our give-it-alls, we borrowed and then paid it off in the fall or the spring with our give-it-all money that we would raise, and the deacons would vote on a project, and we would go ahead with that project. But we would make sure that we had a local bank that we could, in fact, our local bank, White Oak, it's not White Oak anymore. It's a different bank now. But the guy that owned it was I was able to lead him to Christ. He walked the aisle at one of our big days at the church, and what a good man he was. I remember he called my financial lady one time and said, "I think Dr. Gray's mad at me." And she said, "What makes you think he's mad at you?" "Well, he hadn't borrowed any money lately." And she said, "Don't worry, he'll be back. He'll be back." But I used George for his bank for local bank for short-term loans. And I'll give you some insight into that in a little bit. But number one, talking about ministry banking, have two banks to do business that you do business with. Number two, one should be a local bank where you could borrow short-term money. And again, the interest is higher, but you may pay $1,000 on a loan over a short period of time, and it's well worth it. Number two, one should be a local bank. Number three, one should be a national bank, a big bank for big projects. Of course, everybody buying everybody else out, but someone like Bank One or Chase, there are national banks that you can do business with for big projects, big money projects. And that's what we did. I kept both banks busy. We deposited money in both banks. We knew the bank manager of both banks locally and did it on purpose. We had lunch with them and spent time with them. I wanted them to know who I was because we weren't a denomination. We were independent Baptists, and they didn't. Some of them didn't. Catholics didn't understand that. Methodists didn't understand it. Local bank. And I remember a Catholic, a vice president from what bank was it? I can't remember what bank it was. Anyway, we had a big loan we were trying to get for building projects, and he came, and him and another fellow vice president came and sat and talked to me for 4 hours. And the guy said, the one vice president said, "Look, I'm Catholic. I'm not a Baptist. I don't understand you Baptists, but talk me into being a Baptist." He said, "Because I don't understand." He said, "A Catholic is different than you Baptist, how you run your business." I said, "Oh, sure, I'd be glad to. We're independent. We have no headquarters. We rule ourselves. We're indigenous." And he said, "Well, what in the world does that mean?" I said, "Okay, let's suppose I am a uh, a Catholic priest, and this is one of your parishes, and you've seen our success. You've got the numbers. You've seen it. You visited us in a church service. You know what we are, and we're booming and we're growing, and that's why we need to borrow some money." And so he said, "Okay." I said, "Okay, listen, I'm a priest. This parish is very successful. You're in Chicago. You've got a church the parish that's dying, and you want somebody. Who are you going to pick? Somebody that can't do it or somebody that can do it?" "Well, somebody that could do it." "Well, then you take me, move me out of here someplace else. And now this church would pay the price for it." I said, "Much better being independent because this church can fire me if they want to, but they also hired me, and no outside entity can control me and can control this church, which is safe for this church." And he said to me, "Well, I think I'll be an independent Catholic." I never did win him to Christ, but it was a lot of fun spending time with him. But we're talking about ministry banking. One, have two banks to do business with. Number two, one should be a local bank for short-term money, higher interest, but short-term money. Number three, one should be a national bank for big projects. When we got ready to build and almost $20 million worth of property when I retired there. But it's important that you understand you need a small bank and you need a large bank, a national bank. Number four, inventory, furniture, and fixtures. Now I'm heading somewhere, so don't leave me now. Inventory, furniture, and fixtures. When you buy a computer or you buy a desk, I don't care what you buy, you have an inventory of furniture and fixtures. At General Motors, at Fisher Body Division, I should say, of General Motors, we tagged everything. Every desk had a tag, had a number, and it was in the computer, and we knew exactly. And when we sold something or got rid of something, we took it off the inventory. So I'm suggesting you inventory, furniture, and fixtures. Put item tags on each. Put in your computer the date you purchased, what you paid for it that date, and put that in your computer. Now, why? Why do we want furniture and fixtures inventory? I'll tell you why. Because this is what you use for short-term loans. I don't know how many times I took furniture and fixtures and signed them as collateral to White Oak State Bank so that we could get short-term money. And so we did that a lot. Also, number five, inventory bus and church vehicles. There were many times I took the titles to the buses. We had 40 bus routes, 45 buses at one time, 40 bus routes at our height. And we had vans and so on. So they were used to get short-term money. So that was the collateral. The collateral was furniture and fixtures. We had over $400,000 worth of furniture and fixtures. And then 45 buses plus vans and so on. And that was separate. That wasn't furniture and fixtures. That was separate. Point being that you can use the furniture and fixtures and the bus separate in order to borrow short-term money, which meant I borrowed it for 12 months, let's say, or 10 months. And then by give it all, I raise the money and then pay it off. And sometimes pay $700 interest, $1,000 interest, whatever. But it was minimal. It was well worth it, well worth it. So I could go ahead and do the project that I need to get done, realizing that I've got give it all. I had two give it alls a year for capital improvements, one in the spring, one in the fall. They originated by trying to take care of a bonding program that I inherited. And the deposits they had to be made every week, and then they paid out in spring and paid out in the fall. Well, I didn't like that bonding program, so we raised, I think it was about $200,000. We had a bond burning on one Sunday night after church. We paid off all those bonds, but I kept raising the money in the spring and the fall for capital improvements. We bought 20 buses at one time from Boston, Massachusetts, 20 buses, raised cash, paid for it. But I have the financial vehicle of a small bank. All right. Ministry banking here. I hope it's not too boring for you. Number one, have two banks to do business with. Number two, one should be a local bank for short-term money, higher interest now. Number three, one a national bank for big programs and lower interest. Number four, inventory furniture and fixtures. Have on your computer. Make sure you know every desk, every chair, every computer, everything is inventoried, and you can use that on furniture and fixtures to borrow short-term money with. Number five, inventory bus and church vehicles. Have an inventory of them. Have all the titles available. That way, when you do business well enough and they trust you and you trust them, then you can let them have the titles and you get the short-term money to do whatever project you want. You could pay it off then with the give-it-alls that we had, if you have those type of offerings. If not, go back and look at some of the videos where I teach about that. All right, number six, short-term loan interest rates are high. Very important that you understand this. Short-term from the local bank, short-term loan interest rates are high. So don't be shocked when you find out that it's two percentages higher. Well, don't be shocked by it. Talking about ministry banking. Number one, have two banks to do business with. Number two, one should be a local bank for short-term money, higher interest. Number three, one a national bank for big projects and lower interest over a long 15 years, 10 years, whatever. And as long as you stay within 80% of the, and I'll talk to you in a second here about, but 80% of the evaluation, you can borrow up to 80% in most banks. That's their safety valve, if you please. But you can borrow. So if you got it down 60%, you can borrow another 20% and keep the same mortgage rate and keep building and keep building. There's a way to do it. Then number four, inventory furniture and fixtures for short-term money. Number five, inventory bus and church vehicles for short-term money, higher interest, but short-term. Number six, short-term investment interest rates are high. I've already said that. I'll reiterate it. Number seven, national banks have lower interest rates for major building projects, and that 80% threshold, you may not be able to borrow more than 80% of that threshold. But if you pay it down, and let's say you're down to 60%, wow, that's 20% more. You can go down and borrow, keep the same rate, keep the same payment, and you can build what you want to build. And it's so it works for you if you stay on top and make sure your bills are paid, make sure they're paid on time. Number eight, do an annual appraisal of property, furniture and fixtures, and vehicles. Number eight, do an annual appraisal of property, furniture and fixtures, and vehicles. You want to know what that figure is. You want to know, you've got to know, because you're going to be going back to the bank. Hopefully, you're going to be winning souls, baptizing. We baptized 10,000 one year. So don't soul winning is the answer. It's the key to the whole thing. Win people, get them down and out, win them, wet them. What do you guys say today? Wean them and work them. I've never used the win them part before, but anyway. So ministry banking. Have two banks to do business with. Number two, one should be a local bank, borrow short-term money, high interest. Number three, one a national bank, big projects, long-term, shorter, less interest rate. Number four, inventory, furniture, and fixtures. Every time you buy something, put it in that computer. Put the price, the date, and so on. Know exactly what you've got on probably over $400,000 worth of furniture and fixtures. Number five, inventory bus and church vehicles. Get the titles. Inventory them. Take a bus off. Make sure that the financial office knows about it. Keep them to update. And then short-term money, don't forget the interest rate is higher. Number seven, national banks, long-term money, interest rates are lower. But don't forget about that 80% threshold. If you don't appraise your property and you don't know what that appraisal is, you'll not be able to function like you. But if the appraisal goes up, then the percentage will go down. So it's 80%. So if you pay, we had debt retirement, we paid on that. There's another video I teach you on that. Then what we do, and we pay it down, pay it down, pay it down. Well, oh my, we need to build a bus barn. Well, guess what? I can go to the bank and say I want to borrow $700,000. We bought a 15,000 square foot building with bus bays and used the front part for a daycare and then used the back for the buses. Worked out just great. Property worth $1 million, but we got a deal on it. But I was able to do that by that percentage, 80% threshold. They're not going to give you any more than that. But you pay it down. Guess what happened, boys and girls? You get to raise, if they go back and borrow some money to get up to that 80% threshold. That is, if you have a good relationship with the bank. And then last point, do an annual appraisal of property, furniture and fixtures, and church vehicles. Church vehicles. Do that three so that you know exactly what you have in inventory so you can use that for short-term money. I hope this helped you. Wasn't too deep, was it? It wasn't so painful, was it? No, but it'll sure be a blessing to you. Ministry Moments every Friday, 4 o'clock Eastern Time. And go to softchurchpalm.com and subscribe there. We'll be revamping that website, so there'll be a lot of good things we're going to start doing there. And then soul winning tomorrow. I'll go soul winning, line people up. Line at least 5 up for Sunday morning. Somebody will come through. God bless you. Hope this helped you. And tell people about the Ministry Moments and get them to subscribe. God bless you. Have a great weekend.